And before we have the adoption of the agenda, we do have a few items to be pulled for discussion and action. Uh, Tonight, we want to pull 4.06, number one, for a preview by Ms. Monahan and also for action. 8.01, number two, and number three also. Anything else? If
Yes.
not, do I have a
Dana,
motion?
Yeah, I don't have anything necessarily that need to be pulled with these items, but there is some things, there's something I noticed with a couple of other documents that I will get with them about afterwards. But they don't necessarily need to be pulled tonight.
Okay, I'm kind of a little bit impaired tonight. It's not because of drinking. My normal hearing aids have went out with me, so I've got a pair of loaners. So please, everyone speak up tonight, okay? Now, what did you say?
Let me talk to them. Well,
Okay.
let me talk to the superintendent. Superintendent, there is a couple of items on some other documents that have been presented. More than likely, there's just some things that need to be edited, typos or something that I did want to point out, but it did need to be pulled tonight.
Okay,
Okay?
I'm okay. And then also, I wanted to mention, especially since Lacey's here, back on the correction, well, we're doing that as action item. Never mind.
Okay, so we're good for everything else. Okay. You're okay now?
Yeah, they don't need to be pulled, but I think they need to take a look at it before it be reported, so.
Okay. So do we have a motion and a second to accept it?
Motion.
Okay. Ms. Carlton makes the motion. Ms. Mathis seconds that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, anybody opposed? All right, so carried. All right, the brings us down to 2.04, which is approval of minutes of September 23rd of 2025, a legal meeting, regular school board meeting, and executive session.
Motion.
All right, Ms. Mathis makes that motion.
Second.
All right, Ms. Carlton seconds it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? So carried. Also, a corrected amended minutes dated September the 9th, 2025, section 16 budget, 16.04 final budget hearing. Also, the 25-26 millage rate corrected to reflect 5.637.
Motion.
All right, Ms. Mathis makes that motion. And we have
I'll second.
a second by Ms. Carlton.
Now, my question is on Lacey on that one. We don't need to do anything else to, I mean, I know we have to send that in and I want to make sure that we,
Yes, ma'am.
covered
The
our
only
bases.
thing on the meeting minutes, when they were typed up, those two numbers were just transposed. So my trim package was accepted because it was advertised and voted on correctly. It's just when they typed the meeting minutes, they transposed those two numbers.
Yeah.
So we told them we would just correct it and send it back in, but they still approved the trim package.
Yeah.
anyway.
because I even looked at my notes and I know when the motion was made, it had the 5.637, but
Yes,
okay,
ma'am.
okay,
That's right.
that was all.
Okay, good. All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, so carried. All right, we have a presentation. Mr. Wentworth, would you like to introduce this presentation?
Yes, Lacey. I'll let Lacey introduce me. Thank you.
All right, pass it along, roll.
We have Mr. Steve Vancourt here with us from Tallahassee, and he's going to give us all the info on the half-cent sales tax.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And point of order, Mr. Chairman, I have the correct hearing aids in.
Speak.
But I will speak loudly nonetheless.
Yes,
Thank
you
you.
go. There you go.
I was
Thank you.
fortunate enough to find mine. So my name is Steve Vancourt. I'm the president of two companies. One is Clearview Research. We're a polling and focus group research company. The other one is Vancourt Jones Communications. We do a variety of communications projects throughout the state, many of which are in the Northwest Florida, North Florida region. I've been communicating with Lacey. I think she saw a presentation I did at the Florida Association of District School Superintendents. So if I could, let me just walk through some basics about the half-penny tax that I know you're considering. And I'll work kind of in reverse order to her suggestions. My firm has worked in about 25 counties on these initiatives, many of them several times. Brevard, we're on round 3. Manatee, we're on round 3. A variety of others. We have helped pass almost every single one of them. I think in our history, we've only had 2 that did not pass. These things tend to be very, very popular among local electorates. So when I say these things, what are they? You have an option for local sales taxes. One is a half penny, which is exclusively for infrastructure, capital expenditures and the statute defines that. I am not a lawyer, so if I reference things, I'm not doing this as an attorney, I'm just doing this as somebody who read the statute, that those are the kind of things that have a 5-year or longer life expectancy. That could be a law enforcement officer's vehicle for a school resource officer. It could be a new air conditioning system. It could be new walls, new roofs, a new building, a new extension, anything that you can touch. The millage increase is exclusively for salaries. That's limited to 4 years. There's no time limit for the, I think it's 20 is the maximum that's in circulation right now. The legislature tried to limit it last year, but Marion County fought that back, which was a good thing, because it allows you to bond the money. And so what you do is you put a half penny proposal to the voters and ask if they're willing to support an increase in the half penny local option sales tax, and all of that money stays right here in Taylor County and can only be spent by you on infrastructure for the schools. So before I move off that part, before I get into the process, which is a little cumbersome, is there any questions about what you could do with the money, how long you could set the time limit and all that kind of stuff? Any
I
yes,
have a
ma'am.
question. So you said something about salaries, then you said something about facilities and infrastructure, capital outlay. So are we talking about 2 different things, or a pot of money to do both of those things?
If you do a half penny sales tax, it's just for capital expenditures, capital outlay, which is tangible things.
Okay.
It could be whatever's in your budget that has, according to the statute, an estimated life of 5 years or longer.
So that's what I'm saying. Your presentation is just today for that, or is it also for salaries?
If I can do both, if you like, if you're curious about the millage increase,
I'm asking, what are you coming to present on? That's what
I'm here to answer whatever questions you have about it, but I'm talking now about the half penny.
Okay.
But if you ask me, you want me to also talk about the millage, happy to do so as well.
Are you here to talk about both or just the mill?
Half penny. Okay, so let's
All
talk
right.
about the half penny. So I would recommend your very first step to be to ask the public what they think. And we learned several things from that. And what we recommend generally is what I call the gold standard of polling, which is live operator outbound calling, and doing it in such a way that you get a balanced representative sample of the community, of the voters in the community, to see what it is they want, to say, hey, we're thinking about doing this. Are you guys okay with this? And if we do this, what kind of things would you like to see the money spent for? That does several things. It tells us, one, how do they feel about the district? Is this going to be about change? Is it going to be about protecting the status quo? Who's going to pay for it? Now, we know for most communities, between 20 and 40% of the sales tax is paid for by visitors to the community. So that means people traveling through here, coming up 27 on their way back or forth from Tallahassee or for wherever, will be helping to pay to improve local schools. And again, every dollar stays right here in the community. We also learn from that, we because we've done so many of these, we take this and we come up with what we think is the best ballot language. Just a guess. We'll talk to the super, we'll talk to Lacey about, well, what projects do you guys have in mind? I remember working in Palm Beach, and they had moldy roofs and it was leaking water into the schools. In Broward County one time, they had bad air conditioning. Kids were sweating in the schools. In Manatee County, it was about building new schools, okay? So whatever your needs are, we'll meet with your team, get an understanding of what those needs are, and then we'll have the humility to ask the public, what do you guys think? Are you okay passing this? And so that'll give us a baseline with the ballot language, supposed ballot language, but then we'll do something else. We'll break out all those projects individually and say, What about, I'm just going to make this up. What about repairing the roofs on the high school? What about fixing the parking lot, the pickup drop-off area? All those project items that you think generally you would like to see funded that maybe you're not able to fund right now, or that you're behind on funding. Could be upgrading air conditioning systems, or whatever that is, making the buildings more efficient. We'll test all that out. The things that the public says they like, we'll rewrite the ballot language and make sure those stay in the ballot language. And here's why that's really important. Over the last several years, the legislature has taken somewhat of a hostile approach to these. They haven't outlawed them, but each year there's more and more restrictions on them. You used to be able to spend money to educate the public on what's going to be on the ballot and what you will do with their money. You can no longer do that. You can no longer do what we call spend and send. So in other words, you couldn't send a mailer out to the public to say, hey, this is what, if you vote yes, this is what we will do. If you vote no, these are the projects that won't get funded. You can't do that anymore. You have some options, like if you hand out calendars or event notifications at the doors or parent pickup, you could put something on there as long as you're not adding anything to your budget and you're not directly sending stuff out. That's why it's so critical to get the ballot language correct. Now, one of your questions might be, well, what would it take to pass this? And I will answer you honestly, I do not know until we look at the poll. For example, if it comes back, 90% of the public says, yes, we like this, or let me be more realistic, 75% say yes, I will come back and I will say to you, you don't really need to do a whole lot, because they're very strongly supportive. If on the other hand, only 25% come back and say yes, I will say you don't need to do a lot either, because there's 0% chance this is going to pass. So try something else. They usually come out somewhere in the middle, and then that allows us to come back with a plan where you would educate, you would work maybe with the local union to educate their members, you would talk to parents, you would talk to your PTO meetings, you would ask your principals to spread the word, you would maybe do community meetings, go meet at the women's club, go meet at the Kiwanis, go meet at the chamber, whatever those things are, you would then do your presentations, and you're allowed to do that. You just can't spend and send money to do so. So let me talk about the steps you need to take. And I believe the first step, it's not statutory, but I think it's the wisest step, is to do a poll so you know where you are, you know what the public wants, you know what the public doesn't want, okay? That gives you a sense of where to go from there. Then after that, you have to pass, this body has to pass ballot language. And it would be a 15-word summary, and then followed by 15-word ballot title, followed by a 75-word summary. And we would guide you on what works, what doesn't work. I'll give you one example. If you put the words, shall the school board, blah, 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 versus shall the school district. I don't know why. I have some theories, but people like district better than they like board. Statutorily, it's the same. So I would advise you to write shall the school district. That'll get you an extra point and a half. And when I said 27 out of 29 passed in last cycle, the two that didn't pass both had bad ballot language, both called it the school board. The other thing they didn't do was have alignment with the local union. And the third thing was they didn't have a unanimous school board. So if there's dissent on the school board, that usually doesn't bode well for the passage of these things. So step one, you decide what you're going to do. You have your obligatory public meetings. I would also advise you leave this building and go out into the community and talk to the community as well. But then you statutorily have to vote through your standard voting process, which is notification, public hearings, blah, 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 blah. And then the next step, after you approve that language, hopefully unanimously, if you decide to move forward, then it gets transmitted to the county. And then the county must send it to the supervisor of elections to put on the ballot. Now, there's something that's interesting in there, which is the state law requires for these half-penny sales tax, for any sales taxes for that matter, that there's a state agency called OPAGA. It stands for the Office of Policy, blah, 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 and Government Accountability. And they have to come down and do an audit of the school district. Now, I will tell you from lots and lots of experience, it's not the kind of audit you're used to doing, which is a deep dive forensic audit or whatever. It's pretty much they'll spend 6 to 8 hours with your team to make sure your processes are in place. You have to have that done in time for it to appear on the ballot. So when you walk backwards on that, Alpaga needs 180 days to do that, which means that process must be done by May 2nd in order to be legally put on the ballot. So what I would advise to you, I think you're doing a great thing by starting this process this year, so that maybe sometime in January or February, you could have your final votes on it, even as far as March. But then once you transmit to the county, you can then notify Alpaga immediately to give them all the bandwidth they need to get this taken care of. Once they produce their report, you're required by law to put it on your website and make public notice of the results of that audit. I'm happy to say that every school district in the state that's gone through this process has passed every one of those audits with flying colors. To my knowledge, there's not been one of those, I call them small A audits, that has not come out flying colors. I think that's a testament to the FADs and other groups that work with you in the Florida Association of School Boards doing good training, and you guys doing good work and running good shops. So with that, I'm happy to open it up to any questions. That's the process as I know it. I would strongly advise, as you move through this, seek out either counsel of your school board attorney to make sure you're doing everything right, because if something goes wrong, it's not a good answer in court to say, well, Steve Vancourt said to do such and such. They're not going to buy that, and they're not going to like that at all. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
And so you're saying that this is timely now to be able to go through the process to be on the ballot in November?
If you want to be on the ballot November 26th, yeah. And there's actually some gray area in the statute as to when election day starts, because the overseas ballots go out about 6 weeks prior to November 3rd. So I always like to say 120 days from then, but you should be done with the process and transmitted by May 2nd. Yes, ma'am. So you're in good shape right now. If I was standing here in January, I'd be saying, okay, we got to get, because you have the notification for public meetings, and then you want to do it, and then you want to get the poll done so that if we need to make changes to the ballot language, we can go back and change it and all that kind of stuff. And so we may end up recommending things like this, to put a citizens oversight committee both on the ballot and put it in place. So once a year they meet and they review the expenditures from the half-penny sales tax to make sure that the money is being spent where it is. And voters love it. The public loves that as well. And those things always turn up as a net positive as well.
So how much money would the half-cent sales tax add to our budget if it were passed?
I'm going to defer to Lacey on that. I don't know.
We got an estimate from Bubba Knowles, and he told us about $1.9 million a year.
For capital outlay, half-cent sales tax.
And the beauty, yeah.
What we could do with that.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, and the beauty of that is you can bond it, because once you get your numbers in, I guess George Smith would be the one to explain that. You can then use that for big projects, because you can say, okay, we put it on the ballot for 10 years. We know we're going to get this much of an estimate. You can bond that money so you can do the projects you need to do.
So our quarter meal, I believe, is coming up on the November ballot too. It renews every 4 years. I think you've already mentioned that, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So that goes to funding our arts. When that came in when we got cuts from the state, that meant we couldn't have art, music, those kind of things. And I'm not sure what else came through, but I know that's for salaries. So this would be strictly for the capital outlay.
Yes, ma'am.
And the way the other strictly salary. And my concern is having them both on the same ballot.
It's a really good concern. And I have to tell you, I don't think there's anybody in the state that's looked more into that issue than I have, because we had it in Manatee, we had it in Brevard, we had it, I think, Columbia, but we had it in about 4 or 5 places. But what we did in Brevard and in Manatee, we did extensive polling. We were fortunate enough in Manatee to have a big developer who recognized the value of A+ schools in their districts and help fund multiple studies. And what we found is the public supports both. And if they're both going to be on the ballot, what I'm going to recommend is put on the poll, explaining to the listener that they'll both be on the ballot and see how they both score. What we find is they don't impact each other at all. If the public likes their public schools, and I think we need to help improve our public schools, they're going to support both. I'm not predicting that here, but we literally just got out of the field in Brevard, and they have 3 on the ballot at the same time. They have their half penny, they have an extension of the millage, and they have a half penny to clean up the Indian River Lagoon. All 3 polled over 70%. And our polling on these things has been spot on. What we find in these is when you poll them, the number we start with is usually our high water mark. We looked at about 30 polls and we tracked them from where we first polled them to where they ended up. And there's always a slight downward trajectory, not much, but it depends. So you want to start as high as possible. But if they're both on the ballot, we would test both to make sure when we come back to you, we'll say, this will or will not impact one or the other, and this one's favored over this one. We just got done in nearby Leon County, which does not have the millage, and both of them scored at 73%. An extension of the half penny and a new millage for teacher salaries, those both scored above 70%.
I have a question.
Sure.
And of course, I'll probably let the superintendent follow up, but it's my understanding that under capital outlay, there's a certain portion of of actual maintenance and salaries. And then, currently, don't we pay part of our insurance, our property and casualty is paid out of capital outlay. So I'm not sure if it could be used there, but for transportation, I think there's an opportunity there.
Transportation, yes. So buses, law enforcement vehicles, if you would, I don't know what your arrangement is with your sheriff, but yeah, but not salaries.
Not salaries.
Not salaries, no, ma'am.
transportation.
It's,
But this money, this 1.9 can fund the facilities and maintenance, and some of the current capital outlay, we can shift those salaries to that expenditures.
yes,
Those expenditures.
the statute says for fixed capital expenditures or fixed capital costs associated with construction, reconstruction, improvement of school facilities and campuses, which have a useful life expectancy of 5 years or more, or land acquisition, land improvement, design engineering costs could go, that's sort of soft, but it's for that building. But not salaries.
So, with this survey, pretty much what your company would do, you guys will be responsible for doing this survey to get the temperature of whether this is something our community may or may not support. But then will it also be you developing the ballot language as well, or is it just a
Yes, ma'am.
survey?
Yeah, that
Okay.
would be the idea, so that we can develop ballot language that does 2 things. One,
Mhm.
it answers the call from your public, right? If
Okay.
they say, for example, we don't need new buses, or we don't need a new school, but we do need, we're tired of kids, and I don't know what the situation, going to school where there's mold smell or black mold.
Okay.
We'll put the things in there that they say they want and take the things out of there. And so one, we're answering the call from your public through a scientifically valid poll. And I'd like to address that in a second too. But also gives us the best ballot language possible, because you're not able to campaign unless you get some outside sources to come in,
Mhm.
set up a political committee like we're doing that right now in St. Lucie County. We're working with John Prince, and John has reached out to several. Now, it's a very different environment down there than Taylor County, I'm fully aware. They're a growing county with lots of new businesses coming in, so they're going to raise a lot of money from the local business community. They'll form a political committee, and if and when needed, they'll run ads accordingly.
What would be the term of your contract?
I'm sorry?
What would be the term, like the length of your contract?
The term
You're
of,
like, how long we gonna be in this contract? Like, was this a 1-year contract, 2-year contract?
for us?
Yeah.
Oh,
It
it'd just
doesn't have
be, well,
anything on
for the
here.
poll, it'd be just to do the poll.
It was
There's
just
no
to be a
ongoing
poll.
contract.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
just to
it
do
was
the
just
poll.
to do the poll and develop the ballot language.
Yes, and I said I would address why a scientifically valid poll is important, because a lot of communities have gone out and said, well, we'll just email our email list, or we'll text our email list, we'll use SurveyMonkey. What happens in those types of polls, you get either the people who strongly oppose it ginning up a crowd to respond, or the people who strongly support it to gin up a crowd. Let's just say, for example, your local union loves this idea and they have 200 members. Well, they would email it to all their 200 members and say, everybody fill out this poll and send it to your best friend and send it to your daughter and send it to your brother and send it to your husband and also and spouse, and make sure they fill it out. And you get 350 that's gigged. I reach out to them. They don't know why I'm calling, and we'll do the survey, and we'll make sure that survey is balanced to look like the electorate. So we'll balance it by gender, we'll balance it by age, we'll balance it by geography, we'll balance it by party, and we'll balance it by race/ethnicity to make sure it looks just like the public.
And on here, you said 300 surveys. Is there a reason why that number?
Yeah, that's a good question too. Because this is a relatively small county with only about 11,000 voters, we're going to be stretched to get them to make sure it's scientifically valid. Also, its cost as a driver. When Lacey said we want to keep it as relatively low cost as possible. And so 300 will give you a very good indication of where you're going. Also, you need to go to larger numbers when you're doing more subgroups, and we won't need to be doing many subgroups here.
Okay.
So 300 should suffice. If I had my druthers, I'd say 400, but I think 300 will get you what you need.
Okay. All right.
It's a good question.
One
Thank you.
last one.
Okay, go ahead.
It appears that the contract before the board tonight only covers the polling, so if in fact there is an appetite among the voters in Taylor County to impose this tax, does your company draft all the relevant language, conduct the public hearings, and all of the attendant responsibilities to getting the referendum on the agenda?
That was kind of the question I asked you earlier. She's saying that this here is just addressing the polling, but if the community do feel like they want to do this, is your company going to address all the other work?
Thank you for translating that. I appreciate
I mean,
it.
that sounds like
I
what
could
she
hardly
was
hear it.
asking.
When we do a poll for a client, we're in. But what we not going to be your campaign consultant. But and I mean, I think Lacey, you called me. Anytime you call, I'm happy to talk and happy to give you advice. What this contract, if you approve it, would include developing of the poll, developing of the questionnaire, coming up with results and findings, and then guidance through the process, yes, but not full engagement. Usually that's a separate contract for full, like, hey, will you develop materials for us to hand out? Will you develop our PowerPoints? Will you develop our speaking notes? That would be under a separate contract.
Is that what you're asking, Angela?
Yes, so in fact, the contract before the board tonight only covers the polling aspect.
The proposal is to do a poll and all following services that travel with it. And I think I've outlined them in the proposal, that it would include everything related to that. But listen, I love you guys. I wouldn't say no to any questions. If you would have asked me, Steve, would you please help us do a PowerPoint? I would absolutely say so. I mean, you're my neighbor, and I've watched what you've been through for the last 2 years. It's heartbreaking. And if my firm could help, do a little more to help make this happen and help improve the schools here, we're never going to say no to you guys.
Angela, did that answer your question?
I think that was affirmative that the contract before the board tonight, that there would be some consultation available.
Yeah, I'd say polling plus. I mean, it would be malpractice if I would just hand you back the poll. We would do an absolute debriefing. I'd drive back down here and give you the results if you want, and then guidance along the way. So if superintendent calls and said, "Hey, Steve, I have an idea. What do you think about this?" Absolutely. But if it's about at the end of the day you say, "Hey, will you help us, build out our website, build out more materials, build more supplies," we would need to do that under a
So
separate
when it
contract.
comes to drafting the referendum, who does that?
I can do that, but
You-
under advice of counsel, because at the end of the day, I think I know it. I've passed numerous of these. I've written many of them, both. We've done children's services councils, we've done GO bonds, we've done millage increases, we've done half pennies, we've done full pennies, we've done combo pennies, half school, half county, and we generally write them. But I think it's critical and it's vital. Is Angela your lawyer?
Yeah.
Oh, that at the end of the day, she blesses it, not me. Because if somebody challenges it, you want her on your team, not me. I'm not a lawyer.
Say what, Angela?
Say that again.
I believe that the contract before the board for approval tonight only covers the polling aspect.
It does not include the ballot language. Just tonight's contract only includes the polling.
And part of the polling will be to use the polling to develop ballot language. If you need me to modify that, I'm happy to do so. But I've never not done that, because to me, that's the whole idea of this, is to give you what I think is the best 15-word summary and the best 75-word summary. Plus, I think it's going to be important that we also advise you on how it plays off of the millage.
So if you do so let me make sure I understand. Your poll, you're gonna go out and tell us whether or not, this is something that we could be successful in doing. And then once you finish the poll, when it comes to doing everything else that would need to be done to get this referendum created, put on the ballot, who does that work?
It's pretty self-explanatory, but I'm happy to be available for guidance on that. So there's 3 stages here.
That's what I'm saying. We
Yeah,
won't
yeah.
need to go and hire nobody else to do that. Is that something we can do as a district?
Oh, I think you can do that as a district, yeah.
Is that what you're asking, Angela?
Yes.
I just wanted to make it clear to the board that the only thing you're approving tonight is a contract to pay Mr. Van Court's entity to conduct the polling.
Okay.
And then if there were further activity warranted by the poll result, that would apparently be a separate contract, or it would have to be done in-house as we have done the referendum previously.
Okay.
If Angela, if you're more comfortable, I can modify it to say this includes services up to and getting it to the ballot. I mean, out of the school board. In other words, once you've set it into the wild by sending it over the county, I'm happy to modify this at no additional fee to say, here's what we recommend, here's how we recommend you move forward. If that gives you comfort, easy to do.
Angela,
Yeah, I don't need to be comforted. I was just explaining to the board what I understand after reviewing the contract, what its parameters are. And the additional process that you described, we've gone through before with the quarter mill referendum previously. The only difference is we've not had to conduct the OPAGA audit. So that sounds like that's the only difference in the process for the half-cent sales tax. Is that correct?
Correct, yeah. So I'll modify the contract, just to give everybody comfort, to say we'll provide consultation and guidance through your vote to either send it or not send it to the county. Will that give you the comfort,
what,
Superintendent?
Yes.
Okay.
I guess I'm confused because I'm looking at our agenda and our agenda says this is a presentation. It doesn't say it's an action item. So,
Well-
Yep, that's what it says. Presentations. This is not an action item. This is a presentation.
if we need to do any,
Well, you don't even have it on here, you only have it on here for a presentation.
that's what I said, it's not on here for action. That's what I was
Hmm.
saying.
I don't see a contract.
It
In my
was-
packet.
it
Well,
was
it's
last
the-
board meeting, and then y'all
Okay,
wanted it pulled, and so we asked him to do the presentation first for y'all to decide.
so it's not, but it's a presentation, not an action item. Okay,
Right.
so that would come up at the next meeting? All right. I have one last question
Sure.
for you also. When you were talking about things, could school hardening, would that be something that's allowed to be paid for out of the half-cent sales tax?
Yes.
School hardening, okay, thank you.
Yeah, upgrades, if you feel your HVAC, your lighting systems, windows to make it more energy efficient to save you money down the road, or to harden it for event of a storm, because what are the odds of that happening? Yes.
School hardening, specifically safe schools, to increase the safety of our schools?
If it's infrastructure, yes. So in other words, if you're putting those door jams in or putting in bulletproof windows or an extra alcove for closure, as long as it's a tangible asset, it's my understanding, but I would ask specific project, specific questions of your attorney, because the last thing you want is, that's my understanding of this, and I believe it's a hard yes, but I think if that's an open question, you would definitely want to get that in writing from your attorney.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Let me ask you this question.
Sure.
When you said something about 5 years, so this would be a 5-year?
I thought I heard.
You can set the time. No, that's a good question. So the statute says it's for capital outlay I'll read it to you so I don't misquote. the
I just
statute.
heard you say 4 and 5 years when you
Yeah,
was talking about the
It's which
difference.
have for items that have a life expectancy of 5 years, you can make.
Yeah, I
the-
heard you say that part, but it sounded like when you was talking about the difference between the house sale tax for capital outlay, or if we was going for something far as salaries, I just thought I heard you say something about one being 4 year and one being 5
Yes,
year.
ma'am. The millage is statutorily capped
Okay.
at 4 years.
Okay.
This has no statutory
Okay,
cap.
all right,
Most school districts either do 10 or 20.
okay,
And what we had a big question because Marion County was doing their half penny every 4 years and was making the school district crazy because they couldn't fully bond it. They couldn't use the money. They didn't know whether it was going to come back, and they had to go through this campaign. And we did extensive polling for and with them, and they went for 20, and it passed. I think we got 72% of the vote.
All right, Mr. Whitworth, you have something.
Yes, Ms. Ball said that we could amend it tonight for the board to approve it as an action item.
At tonight's meeting?
We could amend the agenda and add it as an action.
so once, if we, if you do the polling and it's something that the voters are receptive to, we won't need you to do this part again, right? If we wanted to continue to do this.
Correct.
After the 10 or
With
20
this
years.
caveat, if it comes out close, let's say it comes out 58% and you still want to go forward, I think we're going to need to bring in reinforcements because, like I said, they have a tendency to drop a little bit. And I don't like going and failing because it's so much harder to come back, especially if you need these projects, you need the money. We had that happen in 2014 in St. Lucie County. They brought us back in 16, and it was an uphill battle, but we
Okay.
changed it. We fixed the ballot language, and we ended up passing it with flying colors. So it's going to depend on what the polling shows. But yeah, once if it comes in like Leon County schools, I told Rocky Hanna, I said, Rocky, you don't even need to run a campaign. He's like, no, I can't lose on this one. So he's moving forward full steam ahead. So
Okay.
that's a decision for you to make, depending on what the poll says. If the public overwhelmingly supports this, you put it on the ballot, there's very little for you to do at that point. If they overwhelmingly don't support it, also very little for you to do, because I would recommend you don't go forward.
Now, let me ask you one more question.
Sure.
You said earlier about the elector, and you said that the number was based off our population size and not our population size, but I guess the number of voters. But when you're looking at local election results, I noticed as far as like school board races, they don't tend to perform at the level that like the constitutional officer position perform. So that'll be what we're going to the voters on. We're going to be going countywide. We won't be going district-wide. So would that information take into play?
Absolutely, 100%. What we'll do is we do this all the time. We take their voter file. We take the active voters.
Okay,
We develop a model based on what your active voters are, and then we model it like on those 5 variables I talked about,
Mhm.
and then call those active voters and ask their opinion.
okay, so you'll be doing it based off the
Yes,
county.
ma'am.
Okay. all right.
Okay.
So, one more question. We do, this is a Lacey too.
I didn't think I
Oh,
was going to get any questions.
know. We do know that we anticipate our capital outlay being drastically reduced the next year. And, well, I mean, we're gonna need some help.
Yes,
That's
we
why I
are.
was hoping if we could get this going and passed, that almost 2 million can cover the facilities part, and what we have left in our capital outlay can help cover some of the salaries and benefits from bus drivers, maintenance and MIS that you're allowed to.
So if it's on the ballot in 26 and it passes,
We won't see it to 27, 28, right?
that's the question.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it goes into effect, I think, in January of 27, so yeah.
So what is the pass margin for this type of amendment? Is it a 51%?
50 plus 1 vote. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so we have the clearance from our attorney that we can pick up on this and make a vote this evening. So what's the care of the board on that?
I just wanted to know the funding source.
Got it.
What's that?
She says we have to amend the agenda item, but I
Okay.
think Deidre had a question before that.
Okay, you got a question?
Yeah, the funding source. Is this gonna be general fund or? General fund? Okay,
To pay for it, yeah.
okay.
All right, so, we need to amend the,
The agenda,
Agenda.
would you like for me to propose that we amend the agenda to add the Clearview project proposal to be an action item for tonight?
is that sufficient, Ms. Ball? Okay, so motion's been made that we, make this a presentation and action item. The motion's been made to amend the agenda by Ms. Mathis. Do we have a second on that?
I second it then.
Okay, Ms. Donnell seconds it. All in favor, say aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Aye, so carried. So now we can have a motion for action on this. Do we have a motion?
Motion?
All right, Ms. Mathis makes the motion that we utilize Clearview Project as the
Polling agent?
contractor or to help us through this. So you make the motion. Do we have a second?
Mr. Lundy, can I interrupt? Or can you tell us?
Yes,
Angela
Yes.
wants to interrupt.
I'm sorry,
Angela wants to interrupt. Angela.
Angela? Okay.
Okay. Mr. Lundy and board members, the contract was provided in your last packet, so you're actually approving the contract. If it's not in this packet, then if Mr. Wentworth or Ms. Moneyhan could state the terms on the record that you're voting on.
It's on the agenda. It's on, it was, included on board docs, Angela.
Lacey, do
I
you
didn't
want
see it.
I
I
have a
thought that was
copy
why
if
we
you
had to
want it.
amend the agenda, because it was not on there. It was simply on there as a presentation.
No, it's actually the contract that was on the last board meeting is actually on this agenda. It's the same thing. It's just saying presentation versus actually being an item.
Okay, I didn't see that. If that's accurate, then that's fine. I apologize to interrupt.
It's kind of one and the same. It was his proposal and his discussion. Am I not correct?
I didn't see a contract. I saw the
This
PowerPoint.
project.
Is that the contract or is that just the
That's
proposal?
what I'm at.
What's on there is the same thing that was on there last week.
Well, it has has signature on here.
Yep, okay. Execution,
It's an agreement.
okay, it's on there. Does anyone want a second?
I'll second it.
I'm sorry, Chairman Lundy.
Okay, so it's been motioned and seconded. Any other discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? So carried. All right. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right, next on the agenda is items of interest by
Thank
by the public. And if we have anyone today who would like to address the board on any issue, now would be your time for that. Do we have any? All right, if not, we move on. We had pulled 4.06, number one, for an action item, really just to kind of get picked up on a little bit of more information. So Ms. Lacy, would you like to come and share?
Okay, Ron, if you'll go to should be page 3 is where it starts. Yep, okay. So this is our fiscal year ending 24-25 annual financial report. So this is the general fund. So overall, our total revenues for the general fund at the very bottom of that page, Ron, $39.466 million in revenue. On the next page, it might be kind of hard to see there. Our total expenditures for the year were $31.2 million. So we we're able to cut that down compared to where our projection. So we ended the year with an overall fund balance of a little over $11 million. Now that's total. That's unassigned is 4.2 million, almost 4.3. So we ended at 9.09% fund balance, which is better than we anticipated. So we were happy about that. And then the next one is our food service fund. We brought in $1.99 million. Keep going, Ron. Right there at the bottom of that page. We brought in 1.99 in food service. And then our total expenditures were 1.997, which we knew we were deficit spending in food service this past year, but we still ended with a fund balance of $460,988. So we're still to the good there. And then our federal fund, 420, our total revenues were 3.898, and expenditures match that because we never carry a fund balance in our federal funds. So we always have to spend what we bring in. Right, you can keep going, Ron. And then our ESSER funds, this is the last year for ESSER. So it was a very small amount, $505,000, and we spent that entire amount. So those projects are all closed out and gone off the books. You can keep going, Ron. Capital outlay. That's the right screen or not. It might be one more down, Ron.
Page 17.
Okay. Capital outlay, total revenue was 8.7. And that's so much higher than normal because of BBTC's grants for their new buildings. And we only spent 3.4 because we didn't get that building started until right at the end of the year. So all that money's rolling over. So that's why we have such a high fund balance in capital outlay of 5.996 million. That will be spent this year before June 30. And then last but not least is self-insurance. Should be one more down. We brought in $3.5 million. We spent 2.8. So we are to the good. So overall fund balance is 2.3 million in self-insurance. So we're doing really good there. We hope to continue that trend. And that's it.
Thank you, Lacey.
Okay, thank you.
I would make a motion to
All right, Ms.
approve.
Carlton makes the motion to approve this. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, Ms. Carlton and Ms. Donnell seconds it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
That was in favor or opposed?
That was in favor.
Okay. All right. Anybody opposed? So carried. All right. The consent items are approved by the adoption of the agenda, except for those that we have pulled. But before we get down to 8.01, we do have an action item on 7.02. Ms. Rudd is requesting approval of the 25-26 student progression plan.
Motion to approve?
All right, Ms. Mathis makes the motion to approve. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, Ms. Carlton seconds it. Any discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, so carried. All right, brings us down to 8.01, and we had number 2 and number 3 that were pulled. For action number 2, 8.01, number 2, Mr. Wentworth, Superintendent is requesting approval of agreement between Capital Solutions LLC and Taylor County School District.
Okay. I pulled
Yeah,
that one,
right.
and I've talked a little bit about this with Reggie, but I just want us to know what kind of projects we're looking at.
Okay. We're looking at one major project of turfing our football field and building a track around it so that we can host track meets and things, because the track that we have currently, we can't even host a track meet there because it doesn't meet the specifications.
Yeah.
The lobbyist, Patrick Bell, and his wife, Elizabeth, have been very successful on the lobbyist trail of getting such appropriations for other schools and other districts. Example, Liberty County has gotten 5 major appropriations 5 years in a row. They are very good at what they do, and we look forward to them helping us in other areas as well when it comes to appropriations. Lacey was in there and spoke with them and talked with them when we were in there. Lacey, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
We spoke with the superintendent in Liberty,
Betty?
Penny, and he told us, he said that, they've had them in Liberty for a while. He said, when I was a board member first, I didn't agree with it. He said, because I thought it was a waste of money. He said, until I got to the superintendent seat, and then I realized how much they lobby for us and how much money they have gotten us throughout the years. So they've gotten new tracks, field houses, buses, and he said they would have never been able to get that without the help of Bill lobbying for. Highly recommended it to us, so that's when we reached out to.
Well, are we looking at doing that for this year?
Yeah, there's again, there's no term on this, y'all.
It has a 30-day cancellation clause, I believe.
Yeah, but how long you wanna use them?
Well, that's,
You don't have no term on here.
you mentioned doing it this year, and if they don't get us anything, not doing it again, or, so I guess that would be the superintendent.
Yes, I recommend immediately.
No,
Yeah,
my question was, we're looking to push something through this year, because
This
they're already
legislative
started.
session, yeah, they have. They're starting now. I mean, they have
They're
already
due
started.
in November.
Yeah, so I mean, if we are gonna do this, then we have a chance of being successful. We don't need to fiddle faddle around. We need to
Exactly.
make a decision.
Well, I got 2 questions. My first question is, we just had the one presentation where it's saying we was trying to go out the MUD funding for capital outlay. And I thought the whole purpose of that was for infrastructure. So I guess I'm trying to figure out why would we need both of these? If we're gonna be trying to go after a half-cent meal that could be used towards that, then why would we need this?
Well, as far as I know, and y'all can help me on this because I haven't been in office since November, we've not had a lobbyist. We've not had anybody truly fighting for us specifically in the Capitol. So therefore, we've not gotten appropriations. So you don't get things unless you ask. I've proven that myself. And they're going to help us with that as well. Talking about the 3 million that we were promised again from DOE. I'm really 99% sure we're going to get that next year and possibly the year after, but they have these contacts with these same people. They work beside them daily in the Capitol. That's where their office is. So in other words, these people are professionals at what they do when it comes to appropriations. We've not had anyone specifically fight for Taylor County as a lobbyist. And if you don't ask, you're never getting anything. And I just like the track record. We did some homework and what these people do and the success they've had, it would be well worth it for us to have them as a lobbyist for our Taylor County School District when it comes to appropriations in Tallahassee. I've
So
seen
you
their
still feel
success.
like if we get the half-cent meal, you still feel like we'll need this as well?
Yes, why not? Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And this company, and help me, Lacey, is we can cut that contract within 30-day notice anytime we want to.
Okay.
So,
The other one too.
yes.
Yeah, but I guess for me, and I'm not, okay, let me ask you my second question before I, elaborate on my concern. My second question is what you pointed out with appropriations. I've said for years, why don't we do appropriations? It kind of fell on deaf ears. I ain't gonna say more so at this table, but I feel like more so at your seat, but not you, but the superintendent's seat. But I've said, why aren't we going out appropriations? Because the other government in our county go after appropriation. We've never done it. So I guess my concern is that we've never done appropriation. Who's to say we need a lobbyist to help us to go after appropriations?
Well,
I know
because-
you say that this is what these people do, but we still got to pay them.
Yeah, well, and here's my thought on that. In this world today we live in, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And these people have these contacts on the Hill, in the Capitol, where they have been very successful in appropriations that they've went after. And if we don't go after it, and I'm quite, I want to say appalled, shocked, and disappointed that we've not filed for any appropriations or not tried to get a 50-cent sales tax for our school district before now. And those are things that I see the need and see how positive it can impact our schools and this community. That's why I want to go after these things.
Well, I'm
I'm not-
just
I
as
don't- I don't
paused as
believe
you.
it's-
I don't know why we've never done this before
I
either,
don't
because I've
believe in
asked
sitting
for us to
idle.
do it,
I
but
believe in going after what you want.
Well,
yeah.
And I feel like that these are people that can really help us, and just having it as, a contract where in 30 days, if we don't see any progression or anything happening, we can always cancel that. But I feel like we need that inside help on the Hill where appropriations are concerned.
Well, I would like to know how long, and then also too, because right here, just in the contract, it says what they want 3,000 a month. So that's just 36,000 a year.
That's all.
So again, even for 1 year, that's $36,000 that you're willing to pay.
Absolutely.
Although we've never asked for appropriations before, and we probably could do this outside of a lobbyist. I mean, I know this is the way you want to go, but again, I'm just saying, we've never asked for appropriations before.
Well, I'm not a lobbyist, but I did get 3 million.
Yeah, you
But
did.
I'm just saying that with people that know, and I'd like to talk with you more about that know people personally that can move your thing, what you're asking for up the ladder. That's how people get appropriations.
well, this one, you will know for this year by July the 1st.
Yeah.
Right.
You'll know.
And if I'm
And the
not-
other will still, if it goes forward, will be moving on to November. So you won't have them hopefully not be in a conflict with each other at the same time.
Didn't we use a lobbyist the final year to get the funding for Taylor County Elementary School? Didn't we, I want to think it was $2,700 a month, and we had a lobbyist to get our funding.
That was before my time. I don't know.
That was during my time. That was during your time. It was
Yeah, I
during my
can't-
time.
No, we got that money beforehand. Now, I know we went
I
back
think
and
we hired
asked,
a lobbyist at one point.
we went back and asked because we was awarded that money under Mr. Dow, but then when we got awarded that money, it was not enough. So you're right. I think we might have asked, we hired somebody to see if we can go back and get more, but it never changed.
But I'm definitely in favor, whatever you
In our
need.
conversations with Mr. Patrick Bell and his wife Elizabeth, who've been doing this for a long time, I asked them about the 3 million. Would that have any conflict or bearing on us asking for other appropriations? And they said, absolutely not.
Well, I don't see why I have no issue either, because the county go back every year and ask for money. So I don't see how that would be a conflict.
Well,
And if you look at the list of appropriations that's awarded,
Yes,
Multiple
that's why I
ones,
asked why
multiple
we haven't
counties.
been doing it. But again, what part of money you plan to do this? Is this out of the 3 million?
yeah, can you do that out of the?
Can you do this out of the 3 million before we commit other general fund dollars?
I hadn't planned on it out of there because the thing just said salaries and benefits, supplies, equipment, and technology. So it was gonna be general fund.
Are you comfortable with it coming out of the general fund, Lacey?
I was, because it's not a full year, it's only gonna be a partial year, and I said, well, let's try it, and if they can get us the money, it'll,
Pay
it'll
for
be
it.
worth it in the long run. If they don't, we'll cancel the contract, not use them next year. That was my thoughts on it.
So when you say not a full year, tell me how many months you talking about?
So it'll only be October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May,
June?
So,
Yeah.
8 months versus 12, so not a full
Okay.
year. just a
So
little
can we
bit.
And
do it?
can it only be, I mean, we can't ask for, like, you only got infrastructure in here. We can't ask for them to be working on nothing else. I mean, I don't want to just ask for infrastructure if we got to pay for this. We got other needs. I mean, I would like to see if they can get us any money for teacher salary. You just heard him stand up here and say they got money for teacher salaries. Like, what else could we be having them lobby
Well,
for?
That's, again, that's why I want to have a lobbyist.
you want to, he wants to
Someone-
free up money.
Right. I want to free up money.
I
so-
know that, but I'm just saying, if you're gonna hire somebody and they're gonna go represent us, they can't go and represent us on other things besides infrastructure.
Yeah, they'll do whatever we want.
That's what she said. Can you
Oh, yeah,
expand
yeah,
it?
yeah. Yes,
They
yes.
said they go after anything, any appropriation we wanted. They just asked him what he had in mind, and that's what he said.
So can we change that from just infrastructure and put something else? Or,
Yes, I mean, that is not specific
Yeah.
to infrastructure.
I mean, if you just gonna
Needs.
pay somebody, I would just like to see what all they can
Right,
do for us.
okay.
Open it up.
Well, I think the question at hand is, does the board want to bring on a lobbyist for the next, throughout the rest of this school year? And see what happens. You have not sometime because you ask not. And, this is something that is what we may say different, never have experienced such as this before. But we don't know what the potential may be. And we won't know unless we try. So,
So would you like a motion,
Well,
Chairman Lundy?
Let's just,
Yeah.
no, but what we're acting on is this contract that's in here.
Okay.
What's that?
it's a contract that's in there.
But, think
You would
what
like it reworded?
I would, but now, I mean, I'm not, again, I don't want to hold up the process, but
you
if
either,
you
that's okay.
if you can see if that is not an issue, I would like to see what all they could lobby for.
Well, actually, it's got a little line in here. It says the firm will also lobby for funding of any additional.
Oh, okay, I
appropriation
do see
issues
that. I
at
do
the
see
request
that.
of the client. So I
Okay,
think
all
that,
right, okay.
All right, you want to make a motion, Ms. Mathis?
I would like to make a motion that we approve the hiring of Capital Solutions LLC to be our lobbyist for the remainder of the school year, the next 7 months.
Okay, so Ms. Mathis has made the motion. Do we have a second?
Can I ask one question of Angela before I second?
Angela?
Is she still there?
Ms. Ball?
Angela, in the, on what we got before, is it just saying that it would like to start on October 1st, but does this language need to state in here the length of it? Or does that matter? Does it need to state we're only interested for the 8 months, or does that matter?
Okay, I'm sorry, what was the question? I heard part of that.
Does it matter if,
I'm sorry.
Well, you got the 30 days.
We have a 30, we can cancel it with a
we've got
30-day.
that's what I'm saying, it doesn't matter, that part, okay.
It
Okay.
doesn't have an expiration date. It just says it starts October the 1st. But it does have
Right, it's
a 30-day.
$3,000 a month with an opportunity to terminate with 30 days notice.
Right.
Correct.
Okay, so
So
we
what was
have,
the question of Mr. Neal?
Are we okay with
Yeah.
that?
I think it was answered. Was it answered?
Okay.
Yeah, as long as it's understood.
okay.
Yes, it was.
I had a question for her. Were there any other quotes provided on this? I mean, you're not bound to bid it or anything, but was there any other lobbyists that may have been requested to provide their data and success rate?
No, there were no others. We spoke to these people on a reference from some other districts who were having a lot of success in getting appropriations through these two lobbyists. So husband and wife.
That would be my only comment in response to Mr. Nell. If there's some concern about their history or anything like that, you do have a right to seek other quotes, but if everyone's happy with this proposal, then you can go forward.
Okay, Ms. Mathis has made the motion and Ms. Carlton has seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? So carried. 8.01, number 3, Mr. Finley is requesting approval of a memorandum of agreement between the Able Trust and Taylor County School District.
This was the one I think Bonnie mentioned was it last week or the time before, Bonnie, about, it needed to come back to the board? Is that correct? Is that right?
I don't think this was on the last meeting.
There was
This
one she
wasn't
men-
on the
she men-
last
She mentioned
agenda.
something about the Able Trust. Are you still there, Bonnie? Maybe not.
I'm here.
Didn't you mention something about this one, about the Able Trust?
Yes, and it's on there and it was a consent item.
Right, and I pulled it so that we could talk about it.
There's nothing to talk about. They're giving us $22,000.
Well, that's what I want to talk about a little bit more. But
Okay, well, I got the perfect person sitting here with me that can tell me. Colleen, you want to come over here? Okay, what's your question?
Well, I just wanted her just to tell us a little bit of the scope of it, and I know it helps out our
Well, I know
ESEs.
that she's met with Finley and.
But he's not here. I would ask him.
Cameron, do you know about it?
And, what's the girl, Sharon and Lacey. She had a meeting with all of them, so, but she's here, so ask her what you need to ask her. Hey, Miss Brenda.
Hey, I really didn't have any questions. I just thought somebody might want to say something about it since it was giving us $22,000.
But they're gonna have a check signing thing. Yes, ma'am. We'll get with your school district on having a check signing ceremony as well to give a little bit of, backstory around that. But it's a grant program for students with disabilities with an IEP 504 to encourage high school graduation, to achieve a standard high school diploma, and to seek post-secondary enrollment.
Okay.
And I think she said something about Jason Shope. You just want to ask him to come? Yeah, Jason Shope said he would come with a check signing ceremony for us to help support you all.
Okay, good. And we appreciate it.
We appreciate you being a partner of us.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay,
So I make a
Is that
motion.
all, is that all you needed from me?
Yes, thank you.
okay.
Alrighty.
Ms. Carlton makes the motion that we approve this.
I'll second.
All right, Ms. Mathis seconds it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? So carried. Brings us down to item 12.16. Ms. Moningham is requesting approval of the revised payroll clerk.
Motion.
All right, Ms. Carlton makes that motion,
Second?
second by Ms. Mathis. All in favor, say aye.
I got a question on that one.
I'm sorry.
I got a question on that one. Is there a reason why we're going to 8 months 8 hours instead of 4?
So it used to be 8 hours before, and then when Miss Carroll retired, they dropped it down to 4. We advertised it as a 4-hour position and got no applicants that met the minimum required
Qualifications.
qualifications, thank you. So, but we really need more help. We're drowning in payroll.
Did you add anything to this job description since you've taken it back to 8 months? Okay, 8 hours, I'm sorry. Okay.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? So carried. Item 12.19, which will be the change in hour days for position. They're asking position number 900375510 to be changed to an 8-hour position.
Motion?
All right, Ms. Mathis makes the motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, Ms. Donnell seconds it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
I was an owl that I've lost Bonnie Sue.
We got enough.
Yeah.
Pass.
Okay, all right, so carried. All right, brings us down to items of interest by the superintendent and the board. And so, Mr. Superintendent.
Yes, I just have a couple things. I want to say a big thank you to Cindy James, President of Taylor County Community Bank. This month, we started our custodian of the month, food service worker of the
Hold on
month,
just a minute, I'm not on speaker. Hold
transportation department worker of the month, and our teacher of the month. So you
Yeah,
see
put
Miss
you back
James
on
with
For the rest of the meeting.
Taylor County Community Bank,
Okay.
give her a big thank you. They're giving $50 gift certificates to each one of these. And the criteria for being able to be a part of this is you must have 100% attendance at work for the month. We are seeing attendance up where employees are concerned and certainly where our students are concerned. Steinhatchee School, Mr. Bray, said their attendance is up from 88% to 93% from this time last year. And Steinhatchee School was recognized by the state as a school of excellence. So we're always proud of that. And football team's cruising along, ranked second in the state, still undefeated. Big game Friday night here at home. Want to pack it out, support them. The volleyball team has won 7 games this year already, after having won only 1 last year. Want to thank Miss Harmony Richardson for the job her and Krista Boggs are doing.
We
Those
won
young
one
ladies.
volleyball game last year?
Man,
We only won one volleyball game last year?
last
Oh,
year.
wow.
Won 7 this year and vast
Awesome.
improvement. So they're doing a great job, as well as all of our other sports teams here. And I've said it many times, you show me a school district that has a good athletic program and I'll show you positives in every other area: discipline, attendance, grades, school morale, community supports. So that's basically what I have tonight. And I've got some of my administrators here. Ms. McCall, tell us a little bit about Big Bend Technical, which has always got good things going on.
Yes, we got a lot on. Y'all probably seen all of our Dinner Under the Pines posts. We have raised $26,000 for our scholarship fund.
Ooh.
So we're very thankful to the community for pouring the support. Bring a little bit more there, but we don't. Our Millwright students have, posting that post on Facebook as well. Involved in the Forest Festival. So they're helping, re-wheel the beds for the bed race. And the PCT students. For the year, same thing. October 13th, spring, and for our positive response, a lot of.
Seen a lot of posts on those too. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Ms. Braden? High school.
7 volleyball win. We had at the beginning of the year 16.
Wow.
Taking the CLT on the 22nd. Those, we, number 4, Taylor County High School plays number 6 on Friday. Homecoming week is next week. Pep rally a.m. and the game 20.
Perfect. Ms. Gray?
We had 173 students with perfect attendance in September. 5 employees who had perfect attendance in the month of September. And our VPK summer school program got their class scores, and for the summer, their rating was above average.
Awesome.
Good.
Oh, they're sitting down.
I will say, we get nursing students from them that come work in our clinic, and they're always so amazing, so they're. Talk about my favorite thing, Odyssey of the Mind, because it started back up. We actually started this week. They're doing their skills camp to kind of get all the kids into that. We actually had about twice as many kids sign up this year. 27 kids, and last year I think we had about, 17, 15 to 17, but not twice as many. I don't teach math. We're excited about it. We're gonna have to talk about she always finds a way for us, so we're really excited about that. Last week, and this is kind of, I guess I'm bragging on Casey too, since middle school, had 8th grade night, and also Miss Poor. If you don't know Miss Poor, you need to get, works at my school, but she is the middle school cheer sponsor. And so they did a camp this summer, and it was so fun to see our kids and the primary school kids out there at the game getting excited about, you know, being a Bulldog. And then at the high school, they're doing it this Friday. So we had a bunch of our kids that were involved in that. So that's fun. And then we're excited about homecoming too. We have our own little spirit week that we do. We like supporting them. And I think we have about 3 different. So we're excited about that. Huh? In the parade, yes, participate in the parade. Oh, and we met with our Adopt a Grade pastors today, so huge shout out to them. They are doing more and more for us every year. So Pastor Stevens and Pastor Logan came and met with us today to tell us all they want to do for us. So
Awesome. Thank you, thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Ms. Donnell.
Yes, I do got a couple of questions, so bear with me. But I first want to give a shout out. I appreciate the presentation tonight, Superintendent. That did help give a little more clarity in regards to what was the interest for that. Again, I've said it before, I don't know why we hadn't, but it's good to see that we are gonna be trying to look at, some different ways. I want to suggest maybe next time a workshop, so, we won't have to, I think that's why I've always kind of asked for workshops, because if the board know what's coming to them, it can probably prevent a lot of questions or maybe even the delay of something, because I seen that was something where I guess y'all initially talked to them back in September or whatever, so it didn't get delayed that much, but just appreciate the presentation tonight. And then the other clarity that you gave us in regards to the other interests or whatever. Again, I'm interested to see what success we will have. I pray, that we do. If I don't know what's been presented to the board or if anything will come to the board, but I just do hope we can really take advantage of going after appropriations, because it's something that I see the county and the city take advantage of, and I don't know why we hadn't been done it. Especially if we know it can help us in any, even if it gets us in one area of our need, that would be good. I want to shout out, I got to go to the varsity senior night the other night for the volleyball, and we had a lot of girls that are on our senior girls that got recognized the other night with the volleyball game. I think JV and varsity won that night, so it was a good game. I didn't get to stay the whole time, but while I was there, it was very well attended. It was just a good senior recognition or whatever for those girls. So congratulations to all those seniors and congratulations to the volleyball team. I know that I guess Chiefland was going to be some stiff competition, but we did beat them. So I know they was excited about that, because I remember one of the students saying they was concerned about Chiefland. So it was good to see that they had success that night. The football game Friday night was well attended. I think it's called Fourth Quarter, but they did record the football game for Friday night. It's on YouTube if anybody wants to go out there and watch it. It was a very well attended game. Like, it was orange and blue everywhere. I mean, they couldn't contain us. They didn't even have enough seat for us. So, I mean, we was everywhere. It was a good game. We still undefeated. The guys put up they did really, really well Friday night, very well. Reggie, highlight for me, I stopped by, it was some Perry folks, because we was jammed up, like we was sardines in the little area that they gave us, but apparently they was some of maybe your classmates. So I never knew you played football, but they was bragging on your days of playing football. I've only always heard about you in baseball. So that kind of gave me a little insight on I guess your background with sports. So it was good to hear that one of the guys, they was bragging on what your capabilities was. So I thought that was interesting or whatever. But it was a good game Friday night, well attended. Congratulations to our boys. And I'm just excited, to see what we do this Friday night with the Chiefland game. I'm glad that Ms. Brandon brought up about CLT. That's something I just became familiar with. And I guess I was wondering, why do we only use that for our retakes, why don't we really offer CLT as one of our testing options? As far as like ACT, SAT, because I know it can help students earn bright futures. So,
That was added. Only give it to our seniors,
mm-hmm.
and then we kind of go back and go to the second. Take it.
Oh, okay. So that's not something that, you know, because like with ACT, SAT, our students, I'm talking about for the students that want to pay, that's not something we can offer them the option if they wanted to pay for it, because it will help students earn bright futures.
If we have been offered a Saturday or Sunday, not exactly sure. But if we don't have enough.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if it's, I would think if it's something that we can offer just as a location, but students and parents pay on their own, because I know some homes are not where they could do the proctoring at home. That's the only reason why I asked. And you're right, it was legislation that was introduced in 23, and it seems like Florida was the first one to introduce this legislation, but more states are piggybacking off of us. So I just know it's another way that students can earn bright futures. So I was just trying to see what was those opportunities that we could offer here. But with the school improvement plans, I enjoyed reading those because for one, we really haven't had much data, but just to see what you guys' plan was in regards to those needs improvements area. Was interested, Ms. Popple, I see in you guys, you're offering Odyssey of the Mind for your advanced learners, and y'all are just offering tutoring for your, you know, your other students. Is there any other interest? I know you said tonight y'all might try to get with Jill for some other ways, but I know our students don't take interest with tutoring. So I know this is something that has taken off for you guys. So I was just wondering if you guys have thought of any other ways for those, you know, other students. Right.
Another school stole our music and drama club sponsor.
Oh,
And we said no to being, Ms. Ratliff's now the instructor on Rancho High School, which we're super excited for her. With it being
fabulous.
With it being her first year, she wasn't sure that she could continue that. So it is there. We just don't, we gotta find a teacher
Okay.
to do it. And then, we are doing other stuff. It's just not, it's not going yet. Ms. Kreidler, and I think Ms. Weatherly's gonna help her. They're starting, and I don't know that they're not getting paid. They're not.
Okay.
A philanthropy club, and we're excited to kind of see what that's gonna look like.
Okay.
But we also run into, you know, a lot of our kids won't do things like Odyssey or the extra sports too. So, you know, if it goes to 5:30, the parents just won't, I don't know.
Yeah. No, I was just wondering, because I seen that, and I know y'all that has taken off for y'all. So I was just wondering what was another way to kind of engage those students that need tutoring but won't come to tutoring. So I was just wondering that. But that was my question with that. And then Reggie, I did see where I noticed where OR had done some donation, and now it seemed like you're getting some support from the new bank. But are there any other community partners that have shown interest in recognizing these employees of the month?
I've not gone to any others. I've
Okay.
met with Miss James early before school. She wanted
Okay.
to know what they could do to help us, and she
Mhm.
volunteered to do these for us. And
Okay.
next month, I do plan to have a non-instructional employee of the month as well, so that way we cover everybody. There are many people out there in the community that want to help.
Okay.
We've got many people that do partner with athletics and with the schools. And
Right.
just kind of hate beating the same people up every
Right.
month about different things. But we are so thankful to have the people that we have that support these programs and
Yeah.
do these kind of things for us. Because I've said from the beginning, I want to recognize everybody for the good
Mhm.
things they do, because everybody's important.
Yeah. I seen too where it looked like, I don't know if that was a certain company or if that's something that's gonna be monthly, but I seen where on the Bulldog Athletic page, we got a company that just sponsored a August and a September Student of the Month. So I did see that or whatever, so I was just wondering about that. But other than that, that's all I have tonight. Looking forward to, I guess, dinner in the Pines.
Thank you, Ms. Mathis.
I have I have a couple of questions for Reggie. Rock Building, where are we at with the appraisal? Workshop with the community and historic site planning grant?
We've not done anything new with that. I've talked with some of our local people here in the community and with Mark Wiggins and Ward Kettering, and they're supposed to be getting back with me any day on it. But I do reiterate the fact that we need to do something with it very quickly.
Right, right. So, are we getting an appraisal on it, or do we need a vote from the board? Do we need that on the?
We've not gotten that far as what we really want to do with it. I was talking to some county agencies as to whether or not they would be interested.
Okay.
And I'm kind of leaning toward, or they are, of not really wanting to take that on.
Okay.
So the next step would probably be putting it up for bid to sell, and at least part of it for sure.
Okay. Well, maybe next meeting and that, you know, what I was thinking about when y'all were talking about programs for kids, remember Avid, the Avid program?
Yeah.
That was such a good program. Avid for everyone, I always thought would be wonderful. Pricey, very pricey, but it's so good. I know some of the kids that were in it, so I knew, and they were at-risk kids, and they were just, it helped them so much. It was worth it, whatever it was. But it was worth it for them. And you talked about other community members that said that they would help, and, you know, like recognition, and tell them we'll take all the scholarships for our seniors that they want to give us. So if somebody wants to help, consider giving a senior a scholarship. That would be wonderful. And I'm looking forward to the Chiefland game. I can't wait. Every day I go on to Max Prep and see if anything's changed that I need to update on. And do we have a ride for the homecoming parade? Does anybody know?
That's probably early yet,
It's a
Ms.
week.
Brannon. She wanted to know, did we have a ride for the homecoming parade? Madison walked.
Kelly, can we borrow your
No,
car?
I'm not walking.
You hear me? I said Madison school board members walk.
I've walked in it before. I've walked it. I don't
I
mind
have
doing it.
too. But yeah.
Yeah, you have too? We can walk. But,
I got a nice little golf cart I can get on.
oh, hey, you've got one of them Jeep things.
I do.
Can-Am things, you know them.
We sold
Dang, what else you got?
a Mini Cooper right now.
Bring right up, there you go. You got a boat?
Yeah.
We'll take it. Okay.
I have a boat. I got it. Here we go. Mike know a friend.
You know a guy?
I might know a few guys.
Okay. All right. I think that's it for me tonight.
All right, Ms. Carlton.
Okay, not a whole lot. Thanks to all of our staff and all that's here tonight. We appreciate it. I know it takes away from your time too, but we do appreciate it. We appreciate the excellent work that's going on in all your schools. And the community is just behind. I mean, it really is, and it's just a pleasure to go out and be about the community, to see everything that is going on and talking about the schools in a positive. And I do thank you you have a lot to contribute like that with sports too. That does play a big deal in some of the attitudes and the atmosphere. I wanted to ask about the next meeting. Would there be any interest to move that to Monday night? Because I do plan to go to the FISBIT meeting.
When is the next meeting?
It's October the 21st.
Second, actually.
Did I get the wrong day?
You want to move it to the 21st, right?
What-
Okay, so you want to move it to the 20th.
20th. Mhm.
I don't have a problem with that.
I don't have a problem with it.
I'm fine.
On the 20th, I'm fine with it also.
Okay. Did you hear that, Bonnie? Angela, did you hear that?
Yes, I'll be available on the 20th.
Okay.
Everybody went to sleep.
So that would be okay?
Yes.
All right.
5:15?
Okay, so anything else?
Nope, I think that's got it.
Okay, okay, just don't forget, be Monday, the 20th instead of the 21st, 5:15. All right? Well, as we wind down this meeting, I thank you everyone for coming and being here. Only thing I would say in conclusion tonight is that there's several decisions that the board has made that I guess is somewhat a little bit different uh, direction than what the board has done in the past, whether it's the half-cent sales tax or that we're looking at trying to see what it appears to be down on the horizon. And then, of course, to have a lobbyist. And I mean, I can't sit here and disagree, with anything. You won't know until you try, but we need to, I think, that once kind of tidbits gets out into the community, it's going to be understood or it's going to be misunderstood. And so I just simply say to the board that, my part of it anyway is whatever the community desires, that's what, we want. It's not what we want ourselves personally, but it's what is the best for the community. So if we can carry forth that message and the process, and we'll see what happens down the road. Okay, adjournment.
Motion?
All right, Ms. Carlton, do you have something?
I believe we need an executive session. I don't know if Angela told you all that beforehand. Angela, is that right?
Yes, we did need an executive session.
So we are going to have an executive session. Okay. All right, well, let's get through this one first. Motion for adjournment. Ms. Carlton makes that motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, Ms. Donnell seconds it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? This meeting is adjourned. And I forgot to ask